Hi, I don't know if anybody is here, and that was a little more complicated than I had realized. This is my first time going live, and what I didn't want to do was click on the live button because I didn't know what was going to happen. And I didn't want to suddenly, in the middle of the day, become live, and I didn't know what was happening. So, anyway, bear with me. Uh, I have to see if I can open up the chat as well. Okay, so I have the live chat turned on so I can see if somebody gives me a message. Wow, this is really nerve-wracking. A whole new thing again. And I think my sound should go up a little. Okay, good. Yes, this whole YouTube thing is incredible how much it takes to learn something new. Carolyn, hi. I just got your message a few minutes before I went live, so I definitely will answer your question. Thank you so much because Carolyn and also Ingia sent me some questions, and that's a really nice place for me to start to be able to answer a few questions. But first, hey boys, come here. I have somebody down here. Come here. I thought he should at least come and say hello. So, of course, it's a dog's life in Liechtenstein. So, whenever I'm on the computer, he's under the table. He has a special little bed under there. Okay, and so does this one. Come here. But he's much heavier to lift up. Okay, and so does this guy. He also has his bed under the table. Okay, there you are. So, they have said hello. The first question I wanted to answer was from Inge, and she said, "What's it like to live in Liechtenstein?" Uh, it's lovely. It really is. It's hard to explain. I'm at the moment not going out of the house to work. So I live halfway up a mountain, and I do all my work and everything pretty much at home. And so therefore it can be a little bit lonely. But if you're out and about and going out, then it's lovely. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world. Really, it is. The mountains and the forests and skiing and the river at the bottom of the mountains. We have the river running right along. If you've watched any of my videos, you'll see just how gorgeous it is. And we have pretty much everything here that you would imagine. There are a couple of movie theaters which are quite nice, and sometimes there's an orchestra that comes for the cultural season, and we have a rather nice art gallery, and but it also has it's a small town. It's very small, and so you have to seek things to do. You can't just, walk out the door and lots of things are going to just occur and happen. Like most small villages or towns, you have to look for things to do. And Liechtenstein, although it's a country, it's not much more than a small town. I did write a few notes about it because I do know it, but I thought I'll be so nervous I won't be able to remember it. But some interesting things about the country is we only have 39,600 residents, and that's the whole country. And I think many of you might live in cities or towns that are larger than the whole country. And that population is split between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 main main areas of residency, and of course the little capital city, Vaduz, which is just a large town or just a large village, really. It's the whole country is only 25 kilometers long, which is 15 and a half miles, and it's 160 square kilometers, which is just over 62 square miles. So it's one of the smallest countries in Europe. And the questions that Inge asked is, how many inhabitants are considered native? Well, out of the 40,000, about 1/3 are foreign nationals living here, but that's mostly Swiss, Austrian, and German. So, of course, German speaking. German is the national language, and yes, so 1/3 are foreign nationals. Many of those are married to Liechtenstein residents or native Liechtensteiners. Of course, there are some Liechtenstein families that have lived here for many years. And one of the things that I noticed quite quickly when I came to live here is opposite us is a very beautiful cemetery, which I featured in one of my videos. And when you walk along and look at the gravestones, there's only about 7 or 8 family names, and they're all very interchanged, like very lot of repetition, married to each other. And Inge also asked about, so is it a close-knit community? First, she said, how many are immigrants? Well, Liechtenstein doesn't take in very many immigrants. Last year, it took in 23 refugees. That's what I could find, which were 6 Syrian families. And but of course, each year it takes in some immigrants, which are mostly, as I said, German, Austrian, and Swiss. And that is very interesting because foreigners usually can't live in Liechtenstein, even if you're employed here. And they grant only 72 residency permits each year to European citizens that live in the European Economic Region, and 17 to Swiss, because they have a very special relationship with their neighbor Switzerland. How much is that? 70, 80, 90 something, less than 100 residency permits issued each year. Of course, you can get married to a Liechtensteiner. And some are also, if your job has special interest. And that was actually how my husband got a residency permit for us, because he was specifically employed in a role here, and he became or got a residency permit because of that role. In 2017, I found this interesting. They introduced, or they tightened the immigration for refugees, and they will not be accepted if they're unable or unwilling to integrate. So I think they get free German lessons and lots of help to integrate, but if they're not willing to, then they're not accepted. And is it a close-knit community? Yes, it is, very. And that's also quite difficult because at my age, not having children going to school, it was more difficult to get to know people, because I'm not, coming up to the school to pick up my children, chatting to other mothers, going to kindergartens and things like that. So it was quite difficult to get to know some people, but slowly we do know a few. But it is a very close-knit community, as most small villages or small towns are around the world. I think that's not just specific to Liechtenstein. And does everybody know everybody or know each other? Yes and no. I mean, within the small towns like here where I live, almost everybody does, but it's big enough. I mean, 40,000 people, not everybody knows everybody. Carolyn asked a couple of nice questions, which I'd love to answer. She said, how easy is it to travel around Liechtenstein? Well, you need a car, really. You need a car. It's very easy to drive around, lovely roads, no highway that's within Liechtenstein. The first bit of Autobahn or highway is at the edge of is where on the Swiss side of the border. So nice roads, everybody's good drivers, polite. That's great. One of the first things I did when I moved back to Europe from the Middle East was to buy a bicycle. And for the first few months when we were living across the border till we got settled here in Liechtenstein, I used it nearly every day. And since we've moved halfway up a mountain, it's now sat in the garage and hasn't moved for about 2 or 3 years, which is a shame. Because everywhere I have to go is either like that or it's like that. And my husband goes with his bicycle to work in the summer. It's very scary, very fast going down the hill, and it's a real training to bike back up again. It takes him about an hour. I think he's crazy, but it's good fitness for him. As far as public transport, you asked, yes, we have some very good public transport that goes all through the main areas. So right up from the ski field, which is at the top of the mountain up behind us, all the way down to the town, and then right along the country, left and right, right through to the train station in Switzerland and the train station on the Austrian side. We have one train line that runs through but doesn't really stop in Liechtenstein. So if you want to catch a train, you need to drive to the big railway station across the border in Switzerland or on the other side across the border in Austria. Is it expensive, you asked? Yes, relatively. Yeah, Carolyn says, I wouldn't use a bike on those hills either. No. And what we did the first year that we were here, living up the hill, is we have a bike hanger on the car, but it's such a hassle, quite a kerfuffle, to put the bikes and strap them onto the bike carrier, take them down to somewhere a little bit flatter, and then go for a bike ride. I guess we'll do it again maybe this summer. We should try for our fitness, but it's just so much easier now with the dogs to just drive somewhere or to go somewhere and take a really nice walk or a hike with the dogs. So the bikes have kind of been put for me anyway. My bike is being put to one side. Yeah. So the last question about the public transport, is it expensive? I think public transport is quite expensive in Europe in general. We have exactly the same or similar prices to Switzerland. We use Swiss currency here in Liechtenstein. So many of our prices are similar or the same. And yes, it's expensive. I go 2.5 hours by train, or half an hour by car, and then 2 hours by train every 2 weeks to go to Bern in Switzerland to babysit. And that costs me about 100 Swiss francs, which is over 100, I think it's about $120 to go there and back. And that's with a half tax. And so that's the only way that people, if you're using public transport regularly, is everybody buys either a half tax, which you only pay, I think it's 200 or 300 francs a year, or a couple of francs a year. And then all of your buses and trains and trams and everything is half price. And families with small children always take out a family card, where as long as you have one adult, all the children travel free under 16. So that makes it very affordable for families, and the half tax makes it affordable. Then you have all sorts of other things that you can do to make it cheaper. If you're traveling every single day, you can take out a year's card, and that works out much cheaper, or a regional card just for traveling always in that one region. There's all sorts of ways to get the price down. But if you're coming here as a tourist, one of the cheapest things to do is to get a Euro pass or something like that. So I think I've probably answered that. You're more than heard enough about those sort of things. I think there are four or five people in. So hi to everybody else that's in and listening. No, there's a few more now. That's excellent. Hit like, please. And if you're in and you could ask a question, then that gives me something to talk to you about. What's it like to have dogs here? It's wonderful. Actually, most of Europe is really great to have dogs. You have to pay, of course, each year for a tax on them, but that's not very expensive, and it's very easy to go into restaurants. Of course, as everywhere in the world, veterinary bills are very expensive. Arthur has insurance, but Jacob, I think, is now too old, and he doesn't have insurance, which, if you watch my videos, he's just recently had, in the last year and a half, 2 years, he's had both his back legs operated on for his ACL, and that was horrendously expensive. Towards 2,500 euros per leg. So he's now an expensive dog, but what can you do? They're your babies. You have to look after them. While I'm on here, I don't know I can't actually see who is on, other than Carolyn, who has put in a message to me. But I just want to say hi to a few people that I follow and have really encouraged me to continue as a YouTuber. The first one is Trevor. Hi, Sonia. Sonia's in. That's nice. Is Trevor. He has encouraged me, has given me a few shout outs, which has helped my channel grow. And now that I'm actually trying to do a live like this, I'm in awe of how amazing he is on his daily rants, that he can just talk so spontaneously and not make mistakes. It's quite impressive. And then there's been YouTubers that have really inspired me over the years. And I think the very first one that I followed was Elliot, the royal reviewer. Yes, I'm a royal follower. And I started watching him way, way back when he first started. And I was living in Qatar. And it was just wonderful to watch him in his garden and doing his day-to-day life in green and flowers and puttering around and doing things. When I was living in the middle of a desert, that was just so far from home, that was just amazing. So I I know he's not on here tonight, but he's one. And then, of course, through him and with the whole thing that happened with Harry and Meghan and everything, then I got sucked into Yankee Wally and Murky Meg and amazing, according to Taz. She's brilliant, isn't she? And of course, Lady Colin Campbell and River. So I follow all of these, and I can't tell you how important it can be to have familiar faces to check into. So I thought maybe it was time to show my face a bit more to some of my subscribers. One question that I wanted to, well, two. One is, where have I been? Because I've been a bit absent lately. Hello, Trevor. Hi. I don't know if you've just come in, because I just was talking about how amazing I thought you are. Now that I'm trying to do this, I can't believe how you do it every day and talk so spontaneously. But thank you for checking in. That's amazing. So, where have I been? I haven't been posting many videos over the last few months. Maybe you can hear it. My voice is not the way it used to be. I've had some health issues I've been trying to deal with, some family issues, and especially the health issues. One or two people, I have mentioned it too, that I got some fairly bad health news just before Christmas, and that kind of threw me for a loop. Some lung issues, which is why it's difficult that I sound different, my voice. And so, and then just this couple of weeks, last week, I finally managed to get into a specialist to get a second opinion. And he told me it's not as bad as I think. So thank goodness. Looks like I'm going to be around for a little bit longer. I'm quite happy about that. And so is my family. But I still have issues that we have to sort out. But we'll get there. So I think now it's time for me to pick up my videos again, get really, really pushing on them. I have one that just needs the music and a few tweaks, and I will have it out probably tomorrow night. And why did I become a YouTuber? Well, as I said, I mentioned the one or two that I began following. Yes, thank you, Carolyn. Really good news on the health front. It's not sorted. I still have some. He said it's, but at least it isn't the really serious one that so far. Why did I become a YouTuber? Well, there I was in Qatar, long way from home, and it got a bit lonely at the end. All the people that we knew as expats moved. I don't know if you know anything about an expat life, but it's very transient. People come, people go. So the last couple of years, it was everybody had pretty much left that we knew. And I guess we were a little bit tired of constantly making new friends. And that's when I got into watching Elliot and a few others, and gardening shows and things like that. And then we moved to Liechtenstein, and I got into the apartment, just started to get settled down, opened the door to go out and look around, and then was in lockdown. And the great big sea hit. And so for the next year and a half or so, we were completely locked down. And during that time, my daughters gifted me a puppy, because I couldn't have a dog in the Middle East, and I was determined to have one when I got back to Europe. And I thought, what can I do? So I started to learn how to video, and I just wanted to do something happy. Everywhere I looked outside, people were unhappy. We were locked down. It was miserable. There was bad news. And I just wanted to do something positive. And here I had this amazing little puppy coming into my life. And so that's why I started a YouTube channel, inspired by the ones that I'd been watching. And so that's why I became a YouTuber. And now I would really like to go a little bit further with it. So that's all the notes that I have. That's why I've been away, and that's why I became a YouTuber. And that was a little bit about Liechtenstein. And I've been on for nearly half an hour. So I don't want to overdo a first time. If anybody has a question to ask, um, and I hope that I can persuade one. Thank you, Sonia. Yeah, I have come a long way, I think, to be honest, because when I look at one or two of my first videos, oh, they're very embarrassing. But I keep them up because that's how you learn. And every time I make a video, I try to do something a little bit more, a little bit better. I think I've got some of the filming. I've been adding titles. I've been adding bits and pieces, and now I need to get into the color. But hopefully, not editing and get myself into trouble like Princess Catherine did. Isn't that crazy? What's been happening in the world with her? Um, you know, while it's just this whole craziness that's been surrounding Princess Catherine. I just hope that the media realize how precious she is and how much they've missed it. And when she comes back, treat her a little bit with a bit more respect than they've been treating her in the last weeks, in the last 3 months. I had Many years ago, I had very serious abdominal surgery, and if how she looked on that little clip that I saw. She's looking thin, but she's looking very well, and that's amazing. And I just wish her well, that she carries on recuperating. And I just hope that after what they've put her through, what the press have put her through, that when she comes back, they treat her with a little bit more respect. And the first thing I hope they do is start calling her Princess Catherine or the Princess of Wales. I'm so tired of this Kate Middleton stuff all the time. Anyway, that's enough royal stuff. I don't see any more questions. So and I'm just coming up to exactly half an hour. So I'm going to end. And from Arthur and from Jacob, who are down here at my feet, I'll come on and do another live soon. What I would love to do is encourage one or two of the other YouTubers that I know to come and join me, because I have lots of questions I'd like to ask them. Okay. Good. So thank you so much. And I'm going to go now.